I don't see Hong Kong any different from Xinjiang. If they have to keep the Xinjiang people in the concentration camp, they might keep us in the concentration camp because we are more dangerous. Our ideas, our values are much more dangerous to the Chinese than the Muslim values.
In Hong Kong, the city's once vibrant free press is increasingly under attack, and few media companies are bigger targets than this newspaper, Apple Daily, and its owner, Jimmy Lai. Lai is a divisive figure in Hong Kong. He's a democracy icon to his fans, but a troublemaker to his critics. Beijing has an even harsher criticism, calling Lai a traitor to the Chinese people. Lai was one of the first people charged under Hong Kong's new national security law, a broad law aimed at criminalizing dissent in the city. 2 weeks before he was arrested, Vice News met with Lai. He is currently under house arrest, awaiting trial on charges that could place this 72-year-old man behind bars for life. I'm at his house in Kowloon, Hong Kong, to talk about press freedom, democracy, and the future of Hong Kong. You ready?
Yeah, let's go. Where?
Inside.
Okay.
Inside.
Okay.
I'm a newsman. I'm an executive director of Next Digital. We have media, newspaper in Hong Kong and Taiwan. I think media really fits me. Our newspaper is supporting the movement all the time, opposition newspaper.
I hope that the new administration not just talk the talk, but also walks the walk. And that's very important. Yeah. Action, not rhetoric.
What I worry most is the multilateral approach, because when you, after the compromise, the whole approach to China will be watered down.
So you came to Hong Kong and started your own clothing company. What made you shift to media?
The Tiananmen massacre, and I did not go there, but I was supporting it. I even print T-shirts, promote those heroes, Chining and Wen Hai-chi and all that, the heroes and heroines. When you live in Hong Kong, you know how precious freedom is. It's this freedom that gave me everything I have in my life, my family, my wife. Even today, my status as a fighter. If I had not had all those success, I would not be as effective a fighter as I am now.
How's press freedom in Hong Kong today different from when you started your media companies?
It's very different. Now today, it's dead. This place is gone. Every day is intimidations. They just keep on arresting people for things that is a very minor offense. There was nothing before. Now they just use every excuse to arrest people, just to intimidate. The message is very clear. Either you leave or you bend. There's no other way. If you stay, keep quiet, then, and live a peaceful life according to the CCP.
And can you describe how those changes came about?
National Security Law, that was a law that tried to impose on us to clamp down on our demonstrations, on our resistance movement.
How did you end up getting arrested early this year?
I didn't get myself arrested. They used the national security law to arrest me. Collusion with foreigners, like I'm talking to you today. Because you work for foreign media, you may get me into trouble. You better come to prison to see me if I'm in trouble. It doesn't matter what they tell me. If there's no law, what does it matter? They can trump up anything, or they can do anything to you, totally according to political expedience.
Why doesn't Beijing like you?
Because I've been advocating for freedom. For them, it's control, no freedom.
When did you decide that you want Apple Daily and Next Digital to be explicitly, unabashedly pro-democracy and taking sides?
Before I start them, I went into the business to deliver information, which is freedom. That's how I start the business.
Do you think the difference between, let's say, Chinese state media and your newspaper is one about opinion?
If you take a stand, somebody who looks at it from the other side will say that is your bias. Okay, every stand is a bias to the opposite side.
When they arrested you, they accused you of foreign collusion, right? What does that mean?
Well, I saw Pompeo, I saw Pence, I talked to a lot of medias. That's a foreign collusion.
When you talk to Pence or Pompeo, what did you tell them?
Well, just the same thing happens in Hong Kong. We are fighting for rule of law and freedom. We are on the same page. They understand it, and that's it.
Out of all people in Hong Kong involved in the pro-democracy movement, why do you think you were targeted?
Because I have the media. Because I've been supporting the parties with my money. Because I'm very vocal.
How did the arrest affect your newspaper and your journalists?
I'm sure some of the journalists were scared. So, some left, but very few. I think it actually energized our colleagues because now you have to take the risk to be a journalist. So people say that, wow, Apple Daily still exists. That means Hong Kong still have freedom of speech. Yes, we still exist, but we are operating under the fear of intimidation. Is it freedom? It's not.
Knowing the consequences, would you have done anything differently in the last couple of years?
No. I asked this question when I was in the police station. I was sleeping on the floor overnight. I was thinking about this. If I knew that I would be sleeping on the floor and going to jail for sure, I was sure. They wouldn't release me. I was at that point. Would I be doing things different? No. It's my destiny. If it's a destiny, it's God's blessing. And I can't escape from it.
I want to look toward the future a little. Where do you see Hong Kong in 5 years?
If something doesn't change in China, we are only going down to the pitfall. There's no way back. Or unless Xi Jinping steps down and CCP realize that they have to change the behavior, their war-wolf behavior, or their values when they deal with the outside world. If they can assimilate into the outside world's value and system, the freedom of assembly, the freedom of religion, the private property, all that, human rights, all these institutions is the result of the West civilization's evolution. That is something so precious, and that's what makes us so harmonious and peaceful, interacting and dealing with each other. You go to anywhere in the world, it's all peaceful. People accept you like neighbors just because of these values.
Do you think these values apply everywhere?
Not in China, not in North Korea, not in Cuba, not in those dictatorial countries, not in those authoritarian countries, no. And that's why the problem. That's why, the world has to face up to China, because they share different values.
Do you look to the US as a model of democracy?
Yes. I still think that US is the greatest country in the world.
So on November 2nd and November 3rd, you predicted that Trump would win the election in a landslide.
Yeah.
You're a big fan of Trump. Why is that?
Trump has been very effective dealing with China with CCP.
So as of now, Trump is trying to cling to power, and he's been accused of being undemocratic. Do you still support him?
I don't think he can do anything about it. If the fact is the fact, you know. He's like a kid. You can say that he's like a kid, but you know, but it's not finished yet. I can see that. You can see that he's lost. But for him to try to wait for the last minute, what's wrong with it?
Do you think the next American administration, Biden, will support Hong Kong and your cause?
I think he will. Is this the same as Trump? Play hardball with China? I don't know. Because definitely he's not like Trump using the unilateral approach instead of multilateral approach, which is good and also have some handicaps because not every country has the same idea of how to approach China.
So I have to ask this question again. Is there anything you did in the last few years that really gave you pause besides being put in a police station and imprisoned overnight? Did anything give you pause?
Yeah, I just think that the more danger I'm in, the more effective I can draw the outside, the outside world attention to Hong Kong.